Drummond, come on out, come on, man.
That was really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job with that.
I heard from the back, how are you guys doing today? And we came up like, woo!
Well,
I'm caught up in your chair. Give me a second.
oh. I have one job and screwed up the cord. Sorry, that's okay. All right, so we'll just get started because they have a ton of questions and they're ready to go. But if you guys can talk about any upcoming projects you have, I'd really appreciate it.
Not allowed to.
Wow, yeah, we're going to talk about it. Upcoming is harder than what's maybe the sort of newer things that are out there. For fun new stuff that's sort of available to watch that's out there right now is I play Eggman on Sonic Prime, which is out on Netflix right now. And there's a couple Lego series that I'm having some fun with, Lego Ninjago and Lego Dreams, two new series that have just started out. Like Ninjago's been around for a while, but Lego, this Ninjago series called Dragons Rising is pretty fun. There's a great one that I haven't done a ton of anime in the past few years. We're working on a lot of projects, but there is one called Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai. 100 episodes of that we wrapped up not that long ago, and I believe some of it, if not all of it, might be available on Crunchyroll right now. I believe it's a fantastic series. A lot of the same artists from Dragon Ball Z, and a lot of my same, not the same, but screaming from Dragon Ball Z. There's a lot of fighting, and I get to play a couple of great baddies in that series. So that's some fun stuff that's out there and available to watch right now.
For all you preschoolers
Preschoolers in here?
who are not in this room. All right. Yeah, preschooler at heart. I don't know. Show called Gigantosaurus, which is on Disney, where I play talking dinosaurs. That's a lot of fun. There's another series worked on kind of recently, and I think you showed up on it as well, which is another preschool age show that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think a week and a half ago, I recorded a video game that I'm not allowed to talk about. So there you go.
You sign a lot of NDAs, and usually I just say nothing until I actually see, oh, it's on. Yeah. And then I go, I guess I can talk about it now. It's they're pretty tight-lipped about anything and everything these days when you're in the middle of work, which we are, but you can't talk about it.
Understandably so, because if somebody invests a lot of time and energy and money into a project, they want to be able to announce it however they want to announce it. They don't want me coming here and going, so I'm working on this great new show, and stealing their thunder.
Yeah.
So I just go, I don't know.
All right, so we'll turn it over. I want, who has the first question? I want the first question. Who's it going to be? Oh my goodness, you're so excited. Stand up and ask your question so everyone can hear it.
Well, I actually have a list of questions.
It is 5 points with 32 sub-points.
I think I read a number between 1 and 58.
42.
You were here last year, right? You did the same shit last year.
What kind of car would your character drive?
Which character?
Well, I was about to say which
Whatever
character.
character you want. Probably Death Note.
Probably the Death Note character, yeah.
What is it that Probably a Prius. Either that or like an old Challenger, like a Dukes of Hazzard car. I don't know. Something that just like is horrible.
As the show progresses, I think his car type changes.
Yeah. He starts with a smart car and ends up with like, you know, a Hummer or something.
I get to pick a number 2?
If you want, you can answer the same question.
Oh, I want my own number. Oh, Brad's number? I'm going to go with 17. Chapter 1.
Do you think you'd be friends with a clone of yourself?
As the character or me?
Just yourself.
Do I think I'd be friends with a clone of myself? I do, but we'd argue a lot. Because I like to be right, and so would he.
I can answer your question too, I don't care. I would definitely want to become friends with the clone of myself, so that hopefully I could get them to do all the chores. And then I could spend more time doing fun stuff, like being here and whatever, and they could be home doing yard work and dishes.
Diapers.
Diapers, all that good stuff. Yeah, indeed.
I've been doing this 8 years, and that may very well be one of the, I can't tell if it's the worst or best question I've ever heard. It's both.
Well, remember when she's back next year, because it's number 17. Everyone, it's number 17.
Is this the same list you had last year, ma'am? Oh, okay, there you go.
Can I be a pain? What's question 18? 18 is my sports number that I wear, so you were so close to it, I'm curious what 18 is.
Have you ever tried eating a piece of paper? If so, how much?
Alright, let's move on. I mean, yes, I have tried eating a piece of paper because people do it on TV all the time where they're trying to destroy evidence and they'll shove it in their mouth. So I've tried that before, I've never got it down. Yeah,
I do this professionally, I don't have 56 questions.
Well, now get that list and you will.
I wouldn't have that, absolutely.
And was it really, and so the question whether it was coming up with the voice to do a specific scene, something like that. Wow. I'll give you a two-part answer because my favorite part of the Death Note series would actually be this. Meeting people that talk about the show and what it meant to them and being introduced to that has been way more fun than it ever was actually working on the show. I'm being honest. We do a lot of shows, and that was a fabulous show to work on, but we didn't actually ever get to work together. Dubbing is you're by yourself. You go in one at a time in the studio. It's just me. I do my role. High five Brad when he goes in and does his see ya, and we don't really ever get to act together. So this has actually been, AJ has been with us at a few conventions, as well as Shannon, who plays Misa. AJ plays Elba. We've been at a few cons together, and I think we've got some of the most fun just hanging out together and hanging out with fans and talking to you guys as an aspect of Death Note. That's probably been the best for me. During the show, I'd probably say coming up with the voice because I wasn't asked initially to audition for Ryuk, and I had about 5 minutes to figure something out because I showed up at the audition. I might have told a couple people this morning, and I was asked to audition for Light's dad and a couple of detectives. I might have even read for L, I don't even know, I can't remember, but I showed up and I saw the picture of Ryuk on the wall, and because sometimes they only put the pictures up at the studio, they don't send them, email them to you so it can't get dispersed, what you're working on. And I saw that picture of Ryuk and I'm like, whoa, look at this cool looking demon. Why didn't I get a chance to read for him? So I asked the director if I could read for that role as well. He says, okay, here, just go take 5 minutes and figure out something. He's not a bad guy. First off, he's not a bad guy. Secondly, he's got kind of an interesting laugh. But know this, he's not the bad guy of the series. So don't try and make him like evil. But he does, make his voice what his face looks like. And that's about all I had to go on and subside. So he looked like he was a wizened, long-term smoker that was in his 90s, and his face was dark and ashen, and maybe he had some lung issues, so that's where I came to laugh. It was sort of a, where I gave him almost a coughing kind of a laugh, and then I wanted to make the voice deeper and a little raspier and lower in range because his face looked that way. And that was fun to come up with that, and then, a week later find out, you got the role. None of the other ones I was asked to audition for I got, but I got that one, and that was pretty exciting.
You say he's not evil. I might disagree. I think for 36 and a half episodes, he's just fun. And then he gets people very quickly.
Very quickly.
That's a good question, but a tough one. There's a lot of favorite things. I have to echo what Brian was saying about this. We recorded the show in 2007, 2008, around there. We're still talking about it today like it just came out yesterday. And I think it's very rare that you get to work on a project that has that instant longevity, and it seems like this show's not going anywhere anytime soon. And there's going to be ways that new audiences are going to find the series. I mean, the pandemic was one of them. It showed up on Netflix, and suddenly there's this new wave of people discovering it for the first time. And hopefully that continues, because the show seems to kind of still hold up. It doesn't feel too dated. Obviously, we haven't solved enough of the world's problems where everything that's in it is still applicable today. You know, the morality and the ethics and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty cool show to work on. Now, one of my favorite experiences on the show was auditioning for it. When you're working on a prelay series like X-Men or My Little Pony or Barbie or stuff like that, they haven't made the show yet, so you usually have, you know, some excerpts from the first episode, maybe the first episode script, but that's about it. For most anime series, they've usually already been released in Japan or very close to being released in Japan, so they have the whole breadth of episodes to choose from for the audition sides. So the script for the audition was 1 page, but it had clips, you know, little lines from episode 1 all the way up to episode 37. So in 1 page, I could see the character arc of Light, you know, played out right in front of me, and right away I was like, I want to play this role, because it was, you know, mild-mannered Japanese student, maniacal laughter, and maybe potato chip in there. So that was very, like, exciting and also terrifying as an actor, because you're like, okay, I really want to play this role, and now you're like, okay, don't screw it up. And I was very fortunate that I got the call saying that I got the role, and here we are today.
Fortunate you didn't screw it up, right?
Good job. Good job.
All right, who's up next? I saw the one in the green, and then we'll go back. Yeah, go ahead.
So I directed her here. She has never watched Death Note, and she was wondering what is the deal with both apples and potato chips.
What is the deal with apples and potato chips? It's all you need to live. Apples and potato chips. Sweetness and starch. Sweet and salty. That's the show. Sweet and salty.
That's true.
And don't forget cake. Cake also.
Yeah, when Al is here, we'd be talking about cake as well, and goodies. Yeah, the deal is, you have to watch the series. That's the deal. We're not going to give away these total spoilers if we tell you what the deal is. You got to watch it, and it's really fun. And when you'll be let in on this little Death Note secret once you do, you'll love it.
I will talk a little bit about potato chips, just because. Yeah, there's a scene that involves potato chips, and in the show, he eats a potato chip rather epically. And at the time in studio recording it, I had a little chuckle to myself. I'm like, oh, he's eating in slow motion, and there's like fireworks in the background and all that kind of stuff. But then I moved on. And then I went to my first convention after Death Note came out, and suddenly I was getting practically potato chips thrown at me, and free potato chips, and everybody saying, you know, say the chip line, all kind of stuff. So they've become a staple part of my diet ever since, which is a terrible idea, but they're delicious and not so nutritious.
How do you remain so thin? All right. Yes, sir. Right there.
Have you guys actually seen any of the abridged series for any of your shows?
Yeah, like Team 4-Star stuff for Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I don't think there's an abridged series for Death Note. I hope they do. Probably is. But yeah, I've seen lots of the clips and chunks that those guys did with Dragon Ball Z, and it's a blast. I've actually met some of them at conventions before, and it's hilarious. I've always said, you know, any fan art, fan performances, fan dubs, things like that bring, you know, new viewers to any show is great for the show. I mean, I know with Toei and stuff, there became issues when it becomes a financial aspect. You know, they want to shut it down because it's you can't sort of take someone's work and do that type of stuff with it. But when it's fan related and it just sort of creates this world of its own that we all love. I know people who watch so much of the Team 4-Star stuff that didn't see any Dragon Ball Z, that saw that first and was like, I gotta watch Dragon Ball Z because I saw Team 4-Star. That can only be good for a show. So there's certainly aspects of that I love, and yeah, I have seen some of it, and it's hilarious. I only wish we were allowed to say some of that stuff when we were recording the show, as we would have loved to.
The amount of time and effort and creativity that goes into tackling a project like that is very impressive. And I got to meet all those guys at one point. It was pretty funny for me because, you know, a couple of them were a little, you know, gobsmacked that I was at a show, which is always strange for me because I'm just a guy, right? So, you know, chat and whatever, and they're a little bit nervous, then we kind of warm up because they realize I'm just a regular person. And then they go off and they have lineups of people waiting to meet them and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you guys are the superstars. You guys are the crazy actually celebrities. You're rock stars here, but they're nice guys. They're fun to hang out with.
All right. Brooklyn.
Can I ask, like, what a minute
Oh my goodness. Only if you have cash. Or drinks.
Or candy.
Or potato chips.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right. So
I'll give you two.
the first is like a clarifying. So you said that you were Mr. Dr. Eggman?
Yes, Dr. Eggman, Mr. Dr. Eggman, and Dr. Dunham, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you were Team Gohan? Yeah, Team Gohan. All right. My question.
Yes. Nailed that. Nailed it.
Wait, that means that you were also Super Saiyan Man?
I was the great Saiyan, yes.
Oh my gosh. My question, have y'all read the manga
Which show?
for Death
No.
Note? Okay.
I've looked at the pictures.
Yes.
I've seen a good chunk of it, but I have not sat down and read it because it works backwards. I got very confused.
I've held probably every volume numerous times and opened them numerous times and signed things, but I haven't read all of it. I've skimmed through it. I know the story. It's cheap. So.
Okay. I was going to ask if you preferred the anime ending or the manga ending.
Oh, yeah, I've got that one before. Well, because I'm in the anime ending, I've got to say the anime ending, and I ended it. Come on, like, that's the way it's got to go.
I currently hate all endings. I'm waiting for a new spin-off where there's a slightly different
A better ending.
Yeah, where Light ends up, I don't know, traveling on vacation or in a boy band or going to Disney World or something like that.
You still got that?
There is, speculation that Light becomes a Shinigami, and I'm still waiting to see that spin-off series. I would love to see that.
How do we petition it? Let's do it.
Shinigami World Series, I like that one. I get all those characters. Jealous and Remy in the UK to go on a tour.
I would love that. Yeah, it's like American Idol, but for Shinigami. I would pay to see that. So one of you has to create it. Pitch it to the studio.
There is a Death Note musical. You know this, right? Yeah, there's a Death Note musical. I just missed it, by the way. I'm going to take a little Europe trip to London and Italy in September, but when I roll into London, it closes 6 days before I get there. And it was an extension. It was only in August, and then they extended it at another big West End theater for a week, and it's just missed it. I'm hoping they maybe extend it another week.
From what I heard, it was only going to be 2 shows.
Yeah,
so
then
now
they've got a week in a West End
amazing.
theater. And they're doing a Studio Ghibli musical. They're doing not My Neighbor Totoro. They're doing the first one that won the Oscars, Spirited Away, is going to be a musical. They're starting to anime are starting to become Broadway and West End hit musicals.
I love, do any of you guys watch South Park? Or have you ever seen South Park? Okay, so the guys that created South Park, when they were in school, like in film school and stuff, they made a movie called Cannibal the Musical. Has anybody seen Cannibal the Musical? You're nodding your head. Okay, and one hand goes up. Try and find it if you can. If you like Trey and Matt, they ended up going on to create Book of Mormon, which won 1 million awards and all that kind of stuff. They are hilarious guys, and they're excellent doing musicals. Yeah. And I love when things that I'm passionate about become musicals. Has anybody seen Dr. Horrible's sing-along?
Yes.
Like, this is the guy that went on and directed Avengers, right? But these guys are creative geniuses, and when you can add music and do it the right way, it's hilarious. Now, what I heard about Death Note, as far as the musical is concerned, is it was almost like a study, where somebody was just doing a couple songs for Death Note in English, and then had actual Broadway performers sing them, proper musicality and all that kind of stuff, and then they were asked to create more, and then they created the musical, but in Korean and in Japanese, and then almost reverse engineered it to be in English, and now, so there was, some Korean performances of it, and now there's the ones that are happening in London. So who knows, North America maybe next. That would be wonderful.
All right, cool. Trauma released. If you're a Lloyd Kaufman fan, sorry. I don't know. Where should we go? All the way in the back in the hat. Who stole my hat? Yes, you, the woman who stole my hat.
There it is.
I have to ask this because I'm so curious. What was it like to be Knuckles the Sonic of America?
What was it like? Knuckles in Sonic Underground. That was a long time ago. I think we recorded that in 1999, maybe. Some people in here not even born yet back then. But I was a while ago. And Jaleel White played Sonic and Sonya and Manic. He played all of them. He pitched his voice to play Sonya. And he was a great character, and of course everyone knew Jaleel White at the time. He was a superstar. But it didn't sort of get legs at that time. It was really early in Sonic mania. There wasn't much mania at the time. But to get to play Knuckles, I didn't really even know who I was reading for. Who was this? They kept telling me he was an echidna. I had to what is an echidna? I didn't even think we had internet back then. I had to go to a library and get an encyclopedia and look up what an echidna is. And it's like, oh, it's like an Australian hedgehog or something. Okay, fine. But
Why didn't you just say that?
yeah, why didn't you say? It's like a hedgehog, but different. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was directed by Sue Blue, who had directed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and she had also done Beast Wars and Beast Machines and done some other shows. My first show, a G.I. Joe series in Vancouver, and she was directing that one as well. So it was a blast to work on, but very different because all the characters were. So Knuckles was way higher pitched and give me that Chaos Crystal, right? Whereas now Knuckles is really tough and beefy and Idris Elba's playing him for crying out loud, right? He doesn't sound like that, right? It's very different vocally. And they took note of my changing body shape and cast me as Eggman now. So life changes and the circle moves on.
All right.
Favorite line from the show, and can you do it in your character voice? Go ahead.
I have a lot of favorites, but let's do this one. I'll take a potato chip and eat it! Thank you. And there's somebody over here that sounds very confused by that. Apples, potato chips, who does that? I have to watch the show.
Favorites are hard. Ryuka's a very chit-chatty fellow sometimes, but we might as well wrap it up with, well, Light, I told you in the very beginning that I would be the one to write your name in my notebook. I don't think he laughed there, but I'm laughing now!
That's a really good question. I'm so sorry, guys. I know that you have some questions, but they're going to be at their table all weekend long, so please stop by, see them. Let's give it up. Thank you so much.